And the death toll due to the virus have been registering a steady upward curve in recent time in the country. The scenario at the moment does not seem to augur well for the country's health system that was already dented even before the country, according to health experts, has reached anywhere near the COVID-19 peak. Prohibitory orders have been put in place in the federal capital effective from today. However, it might still not be enough to change the scenario in days to come. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the headlines of the hour. 682 new cases of COVID-19 reported in the country in the past 24 hours, taking the national tally to 28,939. Death tally climbs to 122. Government lacks proper management in controlling the COVID-19 pandemic. Prohibitory orders imposed in the capital from today. Commercial banks likely to limit the sharing of their profits with share investors as the distributable profit decreases by 37%. And Bayern Munich storm into the finals of Champions League with a convincing 3-0 win over Lyon. They clash against Paris Saint-Germain in the title decider. A total of 682 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in the past 24 hours, taking the national tally to 28,939. Speaking at the regular press meet, spokesperson for the Health Ministry, Dr. Jageshwar Gautam, informed that a total of 11,522 swab samples were tested in the past 24 hours through the PCR method, taking the test tally over 554,000. Kathmandu Valley once again registered the highest 159 cases. 134 cases were reported in Kathmandu district alone, while 17 were reported in Lalitpur and 8 in Bhaktapur. Likewise, 108 cases were confirmed in Parsa district, 69 in Morang and 52 in Rupandehi. Meanwhile, 17,700 people have been discharged from various hospitals after full recovery as of latest updates, with 120 individuals being discharged in the past 24 hours, taking the recovery rate to 61.16%. According to the Health Ministry, there are 11,118 active cases in the country at the moment. 7,987 are in different isolation centers, while 3,131 individuals are in home isolation. Likewise, 6 COVID-19 patients are being treated in ventilators and 131 in ICUs, while 13,571 individuals are in various quarantine centers throughout the country at the moment. COVID-19 death tally in the country has climbed to 122 as one more death has been confirmed this morning in addition to the 7 yesterday. The results of swab samples test of a young male from Saptari who had died yesterday came out positive for coronavirus this morning. The deceased has been identified as a 28-year-old businessman from Rajbiraz municipality. He had been admitted to Chinnamasta Hospital in Rajbiraz after reporting fever and breathing difficulties. The hospital transferred him to Dharan, citing complications. He breathed his last right after reaching Dharan. The results of his swab samples collected post-death was released this morning. Another 71-year-old female receiving treatment at the BP Korala Health Sciences Academy in Dharan died yesterday. She had tested positive for coronavirus on 7th of August and had been admitted to the hospital a day later. She had been suffering from lungs and heart problems as well. Another 67-year-old female from Morang's Buriganga rural municipality receiving treatment at the academy too succumbed to the virus yesterday. Likewise, a 40-year-old female from Parsa Birganj too died yesterday. She was diabetic and had reported of breathing difficulties. Another 61-year-old female from Sirutar Bhaktapur, who was receiving treatment at Patan Hospital in Lalitpur, succumbed to the virus yesterday. She had been admitted to the hospital on 9th of August following fever and cough. Likewise, the Health Ministry also confirmed another death of a 78-year-old male from Bardia, Madhuvan yesterday. And moving on, the federal capital has turned into a hotbed for coronavirus in recent time. Health experts have attributed dense settlement and lack of isolation centers as the reason for the rapid spread of the virus. In order to cope with the scenario, the chief district officers of Kathmandu Valley have imposed prohibitory orders starting today. We have more in this report.
The nationwide lockdown imposed since 24th of March was lifted on 22nd of July. Since then, the number of infections has been rising by the day. On average, around 200 new cases are reported in the federal capital each day. The district administration offices in the Kathmandu Valley have decided to impose a week-long prohibition on all but emergency movements to help alleviate the situation. The only services in operation till 26th of August will be pharmacies, solid waste management services, food supply, and ambulances. Likewise, shops that sell daily essentials, food items, and meat items will remain open. For 10 days, government offices will also operate with minimum staff. The government has warned of taking actions as per the Infectious Disease Act on anyone who defies the prohibitory orders. Health experts have been warning of the situation going out of hand as there are no isolation centers in the capital despite the rising number of cases. Meanwhile, the government has said isolation centers for COVID-19 patients will be allocated during the 7-day prohibition period. Based on the government orders, most public activities will be prohibited and a maximum of 7 people can attend a wedding ceremony.
All the 3 tiers of government have opted in issuing prohibitory orders and lockdowns in a bid to control the community spread of COVID-19. However, experts have warned that virus control would be challenging if the government does not focus on isolation centers and testing and treating infected individuals. Back in March, when the government imposed a nationwide lockdown, there were only 2 cases in the country. When the lockdown was lifted on 22nd of July, the number had reached 17,994. As the government directed local administrations to take necessary decisions depending upon the situation, many local levels have issued prohibitory orders. However, experts have called prohibitory orders as insufficient in controlling the virus spread if the government does not come up with effective plans for testing, contact tracing and treatment and managing isolation centers. As of latest updates, almost 11,000 new cases have been reported since the lockdown was lifted. However, proper management of isolation centers, along with medical teams and equipment, have been lacking to control the virus spread. It is essential to have coordination among all the 3 tiers of government with the implementation of the prohibitory orders. As the health systems of many developed countries have failed in containing the spread of COVID-19, it is likely to create more challenges in countries like ours, as the government has not been able to come up with proper coordinated planning to fight against the pandemic. 3 people have died, 1 has gone missing and 5 people have been injured in Dai Lake due to landslide. The deceased have been identified as 12-year-old Janak Kathayat of Thati-Kad Rural Municipality, Ward Number 4, 66-year-old Bal Bahadur Rawat of Bhagwati Mai Rural Municipality and 21-year-old Bilal Budamagar of Naumule Rural Municipality. The police have informed that yesterday's landslide has also swept away 7 houses. Families of 15 households who are at high risk of landslide have been relocated to safer grounds. Commercial banks have said they are likely to limit dividends with share investors as the distributable profit has gone down by 37% due to the coronavirus pandemic. All business activities in the country have been reeling due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The recent study carried out by Nepal Rashtra Bank shows that 22.5% employees have lost their jobs during the lockdown period. The loss in creditors' income has directly affected in the profit of the banks. According to the financial statement, banking profit has decreased by 13.97%. In the previous fiscal year, banks had earned 63 billion rupees profit, but it decreased 54.31 billion rupees in the last fiscal year. Likewise, distributable profit has also gone down by 37.18%. Rashtra Banija Bank, Agriculture Development Bank, Global IME Bank and Nepal Bank are the top 4 banks to incur loss in distributable profit. Likewise, several other commercial banks including Siddhartha Bank, Nepal Investment Bank, NIC Asia Bank, Nabil Bank and Nepal SBI Bank among others have also bared significant losses in the distributable profit. However, the distributable profit of Citizens Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, Mega Bank and Century Commercial Bank has comparatively decreased less. Meanwhile, Prime Commercial Bank and NMB Bank have successfully registered profits in earning per share. Commercial banks are not in a position to distribute more than 10% profit on an average, while they had distributed an average profit of 18.5% to their shareholders last year. The monetary policy had provision to allow banks to include the first quarter profit of this fiscal year in last year's profit. However, commercial banks are likely to reserve their profit to bear the risk of crisis in upcoming days. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the locals in Sunsari why have lockdowns and prohibitory orders imposed by local administrations not been effectively implemented. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
सबैले आफूले बुझ्नुपर्ने कुरा हो सबैले बुझेर सरकारले भनेको कुरा पनि आफूले पालना गर्नुपर्ने हो सरकारलाई मद्दत गर्नुपर्ने हो तर पनि मान्छेको आफ्नो बाध्यता हुन्छ कसैलाई बाहिर ननिस्किकन हुँदैन सबै मजदुरहरूलाई गाह्रो छ आर्थिक अभाव भएर नै होला सायद
पत्रमा मात्रै लकडाउन गरिएको छ के त्यसको कारण भएको छैन किनभने त्यहाँ कहीँ अनुमोदन पनि भएको छैन स्थानीयले वडा अध्यक्ष त्यहाँको संयन्त्र कोही कति बजारमा हेरेको छैन श्रीपुत्रको निर्णय मात्रै गरेको छ के
खेतीपाती पनि गर्नु पर्यो गाई बस्तुलाई घाँस पनि काट्नै पर्यो हैन त अनि नगरी के खानु हामीले
उपल्लो ओहदाका गन्ने मान्ने मान्छेहरूले जे गरेर पनि हुन्छ तल्लो लेभलका लागि दमन गरिनुपर्छ भन्ने जुन प्रविधिहरू हाबी भएर आएको छ त्यसले चाहिँ यो अहिले जुन जिल्ला स्तरीय जुन यो चाहिँ लकडाउनको पूर्ण रूपमा पालन भएको छैन
खाने मेलो छैन या 5 महिनादेखि बसेको छन् परिवार 6 जनको परिवार छ केही कमाइ छैन के खाएर हामी बस्नु
विकल्प चाहिँ के हो भन्ने कुरो नगरिकन एकैचोटि बन्द गर्ने काम गर्दाखेरि मान्छेहरुमा एउटा आर्थिक दुरावस्था भयो आर्थिक दुरावस्था भएपछि मान्छेमा मर्नुभन्दा बोलाउनु निको भने जस्तो अहिले मानिसहरुमा त्यो किसिमको परिस्थिति देखा परेको छ
गरीब दुखी जनताहरुलाई अलिकति मार परिरहेछ किनभने अब नगरले पनि हेर्दैन र ओडाले पनि हेर्दैन अब न काम गरेर खान पाइरहेछ
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, what's your take on leaders holding discussions for appointments at constitutional bodies? Your options are A, seeking consensus, B, power division, and C, mockery of Constitutional Council. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.